Well, g'day everybody. On today's show we're going to chase some King George whiting. So as usual, I'm in here at Complete Angling Dandenong getting ready for the day. So I'm going to mix it up today. We're going to be doing a bit of deep water whiting and a bit of shallow water whiting. When I'm in the shallow water today, I'll be using the new atomic whiting tip. Very good, very light tip rod, very good, particularly when you're fishing only 2 ounces of lead. When I get out into the deeper water, I'll be stepping up to the 6 to 14 pound in the estuary series. I do like it. It's a little bit stiffer and it can handle that heavier weight. I might be using 4 or even 6 ounces of lead when I'm fishing deep. Very good rod for the whiting as well. I'm going to spool that up, of course, with some atomic braid. That'll be today. I'm using 10 pound braid. The guys in here, they're going to spool that up for me on a 2500 size reel. I don't need a great reel. It'll probably be an $80 to $100 reel, just something like a Sedona or a Nasky. You don't need to spend $1 million on your whiting reels. So I'm going to use that. Of course, the hook of choice today, I'm going to be using a mixture. I use the Gamakatsu long shank there in the red in a size 4. That's when I want to hook those fish. The rod that I'm going to throw out the back and use more as a sleeper rod, that's going to have the Gamakatsu shiner in a number 6. That there, it's a wide gape hook. That is a brilliant hook on the whiting. It is very, very fine gauge and it just hooks them beautifully. So get yourself some Gamakatsu number 4s in the long shank, some number 6 in the shiner, some atomic braid, the rod, get in here Complete Angler, pick up some pippies and some burley. That's the next thing. I'll get some pippies, some burley, and of course some little squid to use as well. So stay tuned today, guys. I reckon we're going to have a cracking session. We're going to catch a few whiting together. It's the start of October. I'm up in the top of Western Port. I'm up in Bolton's Channel. Yes, I've got a couple of snapper rods out the back, but that's not the main goal today. They're out there in case I can get a snapper, but I'm after early season whiting. And there we go. That was a whiting and I missed him. So early season whiting and also some trevally. The trevally in the early season in this October area tend to be out of here in big numbers. And that's a fish on. Doesn't feel like a big fish, but it feels like another little whiting. What have I got? It's a little flatty. So that can go back. But the goal is here today is to catch some baits. I want some King George whiting, a bit for the tummy and also for bait, but also some trevally. I said early season this October, the silver trevally are up in all these channels. They freeze exceptionally well and they make great gummy and snapper baits. So stay tuned. Hopefully today we're going to get a few whiting, hopefully some trevally and maybe even a snapper. You never know, but the main goal is whiting and trevally for baits. Stay tuned. There you go. That's a, feels like a little whiting maybe. What have we got? Oh, there's a little flatty. Oh, that's a whiting. That'll do. It's not a big one, but that's the target species. Here's some King George. Come on. It's taken about probably 20 minutes to get that first bite, but that's what we want, some whiting for some baits. So nice, that's what we want. See if we get about another 19 more of them. See you tuned. That feels like a whiting. What do we got? Oh yeah, it's another whiting. I have him. Beautiful. That's the target. I said a snapper. I'll happily grab a snapper if it comes along, but this is the target. Some King George whiting and some trevally. So let's get a bait back in the water. They're starting to come around. The burley pot is starting to work by the looks. That's the second one. Let's see how we go. So what I'm using here today, I've got some pippies and some squid strips. I've got a bit of pilchard on the second rod there because the trevally will like that as well. And so do big whiting, but so a little bit of pippy and then a squid strip on the top of it. And I'm just lightly teabagging. I'm sitting here in about 6 meters of water, just keeping that bait slowly moving. King George whiting do like that bait moving a bit more. Just lifting the rod up, let it drop back down on the bottom, dunk dunk, little puff of sand. Fire the fish up hopefully. So early season, there's not going to be massive numbers, so it's not big schools. Oh, there we go, there's a bite. Just as I drop the bait back down, it's got a hit. So put it back down again, just feeding it right back, give a little bit of a tea bag. Oh, touch and missed it. Just keeping that bait slowly moving. Give it a little bit of life. One thing about King George, they love that bait. Oh, love that bait moving as I miss another bite. I reckon it might have got me bait that time. I'll give it a second. That's the thing. I'll come for the pippy and stay for the squid. So a bit of luck. Oh, back on it. Just give it a rod. Oh, I just can't seem to hook him. It's just grabbing the squid strip is reasonably long on this one. There we go, back on it. Just teabagging it, trying to get him to come back and just slurp that bait right down. My bait might be just a little bit big, that squid strip. Just going to leave it in the rod holder for a second while I check this other bait. I'm just going to put a bigger squid strip on it. Just lightly pinned, piece of squid about probably 40mm long. And I just set that down there. And hopefully Mr. King George Whiting comes on and goes till he gets that hook. Yeah, no bait. So they say, man no bait, catch no fish. So technique, a little bit of pippy. They're not very big pippies these. So wrap that pippy on the hook 3 or 4 times and then lock it on with a piece of squid. Just like that. And that's as often happens, I turn the camera off and about 3 seconds later, I hook up. Just a little whiting. Oh, that's tiny. That's a very, very small whiting. He's going back. Get a little flicker. I'm not even going to try and touch that fish. There you go. That's only about a 25cm whiting. That one's a little bit small. But that tells me they're in the area. And that's typical early season. You'll get quite a mixture of sizes. Another pippy back on and a piece of squid. These whiting are finicky. They're here, but geez, they're finicky, they're hard to catch. Maybe I'm just out of practice. Maybe I've lost the touch. Still early season, that's the thing about it. When it's very early season like the snapper, a lot of fish can be very finicky. Once that water warms up fully and the schools build up and get more competition, then the bite will get a lot better. Whoa, that's a better fish. That feels like a whiting. That's a better whiting. Just a very, very small bite, and I just picked it up and gave it a rattle, and it just slurped it down. Yeah, that's a better fish. Oh, look at that. That is a cracking King George whiting at any time of the year, but particularly early season. That's a 40cm fish. That's probably 41, 42 centimeters. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's about 42 centimeters of beautiful King George whiting. That is a quality fish. Let's get some baits back in to see if his mates are there.